All right. Foundry. Imperial Foundry. Here's a way to play Foundry that is pretty good. There's a bunch of them. Some are really fun, lots of attacking. This one is a little more sitting still, saves on resources, especially if you've gotten to the point now where you're burning up a whole bunch of resources playing Foundry, jumping around killing people. Basically, this little caption here, take your four strongest players and you move them out onto the screen, or I'm sorry, out onto the field. You're going to have them in four different locations. So your most important buildings, your first attack, if you will, gets the first points for first control is 6,000 points for prototype 1 and 2. So take your strongest two whales, they port directly on it. Move down south or go north, and your next strongest first control is going to be a repair facility on the north and south at 3,000 first control each. So your number 3 and number 4 whales port down fairly close to those. You'll have basically your top whale sends 2 attacks immediately, catches prototype 1 and repair facility 1. Speed the attack up if you have to. Secondary whale drops in, does the same thing on the east side. Prototype 2, repair facility 3. Immediately you're going to pick up 18,000 points for those 2 whales first hits. Your third and fourth whale are going to try to get repair facility 4, and either the mercenary or boiler room. I think mercenary actually opens a little late, so I think it's boiler room first. As you send those decks, you're also going to have 8 joining players come out to play with your 4 whales. So your next 8 strongest players, let me zoom in again, slide this up. So the next 8 strongest players are going to jump in beside your whales, 2 each. Your joiners are each going to garrison your whale with just a defensive hero, and the whale is going to join or garrison each of the joiners with a hero. This way, the whale's buffs are applied to each player in their quadrant. You'll notice on the east and west, there's an open spot for the workshop and or the munitions warehouse, so that when they open, you can take care of those. And you're going to do the same thing for the other 2 whales. When you jump in together, reinforce each other so that the whales, the strongest players in your group, their buffs are being applied to all of the members on the field. And basically, you have 6 marches. This puts 5 marches out. So 2 are reinforcing, 3 are going after buildings. Same thing. 3 are going after buildings, 2 are reinforcing. So every whale gets to keep their primary army, their main army, open, so they can send them and attack and burn cities, do whatever you want to do. Call rallies. The remaining players stay in the safe zone for this particular setup. You should have 18 members on the sides. They will fill rallies, get into all that fun stuff. Now remember, guys, it's like 4 or 5 minutes for them to get to the safe zone, all the way over here to the far side of the map, whichever side you're playing from. So you might have to use a few speed ups to get your teammates in, or slow your rallies down so that you can rally if you're fighting strong players. But if you do this, whales hold 3 buildings each. They reign 2 joiners beside them. Joiners reign the whale and 3 buildings with proper defensive heroes. It leaves the whale with 1 march, and it leaves the joiners with 2. So those guys can help pick up resources, whatever. Counter pressure. Each of the players should ensure to put a defensive hero on the gate prior to entering the foundry. So be sure, like I'll take my secondary heroes and I will put my secondary group of heroes with some gear on my gate so I don't accidentally send them out. And then everything else, just use my primary heroes to attack, basically, and then just defend up with some other gold heroes that have some halfway decent gear on them. If you're being attacked by a powerful player and you have a full garrison, single attacks are probably not going to be very effective because you now have all your whales buffs in all of these. So they're going to have to call a rally. If you see a rally called on a facility, you can send your best heroes down to defend that facility before that rally hits it, and it really force the enemy to spend a bunch of resources, a bunch of troops to try to get through. You can also, if somebody calls a rally, you can attack their city with a single, because as soon as they call a rally, we have to assume that they've put their best heroes forward for that. And a lot of times you can do a lot of damage if their best heroes aren't in their town.